What's up guys, it's Roger and welcome back to the channel, and today I'll be teaching you how to use your Blink in Trials of Osiris on Wormhaven. Now, this has been a pretty fun weekend to be honest with you. We have capture points on, which usually I'm not a big fan of, but on this map, they work pretty well. The outside and top middle where the window is are two cap points. Those ones are pretty open and it's very hard to capture on those points in my opinion, so I quite like those. The inside capture point I'm not a huge fan of, but hey, it still works pretty well for Wormhaven. On top of that, we have Freelance, which is absolutely amazing, and every time there's Freelance I can go ahead and get a flawless within like 1 to 4 hours, and it just makes the game 10,000 times better. And if you don't think we should have Freelance, you're probably one of those people that just only ever 3 stacks and you think it's so funny that you can just stomp all over solos all day, but guess what, it sucks for the solos, and having Freelance makes the game actually fun. I actually had fun when I played Freelance Trials earlier, and saying you had fun while playing Trials is not something that many people get to do. I mean, we've had large drop-offs of players lately and people just don't want to play Trials. It's nearing the end of the season, so that happens, but I feel like in larger strides than ever before, people are kind of quitting playing Trials, so there's a lot of problems with it right now. But all that being said, we can go ahead and get into what my strategy is this weekend. And what am I doing? Well, we started off with this. I posted a poll last night on my community tab. I'm going to put that on screen right now. And I said, hey, I'm thinking of using an exotic hand cannon. Which should I use? And I gave you a choice between Ace of Spades, Thorn, Sunshot, and Hawkmoon. And you can see the margins were pretty close, and even when I actually went on and started playing, Sunshot was only 1% above the Ace of Spades. But either way, you can see right here, Sunshot won, so that's what we're going to be using. So the Sunshot is an exotic 150 RPM hand cannon. Now, you might be thinking, 150 RPM? What the hell is that? Well, 150 RPMs used to be, something you could actually have, but they changed them all to 140 RPMs, except for Sunshot. So Sunshot is the last remaining 150 RPM hand cannon in the entire game, and I for one very much like it. Now, I think this gun is quite divisive. You either love it or you hate it, and I think it's one of those that really comes down to gun feel. I think the gun feels great. It has a lot of muzzle flash is one problem, and it also kicks like a donkey. Now, if you can't get used to those two things, you probably aren't going to like the gun. In my opinion, I think that this gun kicks less than people think. I think most of what you see is honestly just visual, and it's not actually kicking and having as much recoil as you think, and so people usually over-adjust when they bring down their aim, and it just kind of throws them off. And if you could really just take the time, play with this gun for like a whole day, you'd probably get way better with it, and I definitely suggest you do that. It has a few really good things about it, so let's talk about those. First of all, we have the intrinsic trait here, Sunburn. This weapon fires explosive rounds and highlights targets that take damage from Sunshot. Now, fires explosive rounds, that is basically the same exact thing as explosive payload, which, as you know, explosive payload shots do not have any damage fall off, which means that we can use this thing at pretty far ranges and still do a decent amount of damage. The fact that it shoots a little faster too will let us win a lot of 1v1s against even some scout rifles and pulse rifles if you know how to use the gun correctly. After that, we have Sunblast. Targets killed with Sunshot explode in solar energy, so basically this thing has, Firefly attached to it, except for you don't need to get a precision kill to get that Firefly proc, so that's always a nice thing to have, and you can oftentimes blow people up and get a little extra damage. That's always nice. We also have the Catalyst here, which as you can see gives it a lot of extra range and stability, so you definitely want to make sure you have the Catalyst on this thing before you go using it. Now after that, we're going to be using the Reese Walker shotgun. Now this is a lightweight frame shotgun, which as you know is what my usual preference is and my recommendation to use with your Blink. Lightweight frame shotguns are going to give us a plus 20 to our mobility when we have them equipped, and also give us a 6.25% sprint speed bonus. Now there's not many things in the game that gives you a sprint speed bonus, so when you have something like a lightweight frame weapon that does do that for you, you really want to try to use that. And utilizing that with your aggressive Blink shotgun playstyle is basically just my favorite thing in the entire game, and that's what we're going to be doing this weekend, as I usually do, but hey, I just can't help myself, it's too much fun. Now, this is a pretty good Reese Walker I have here. We have Rifle Barrel for some increased range. That is going to decrease our handling speed, so that kind of sucks, but I'd rather use that over Full Choke. I never use Full Choke. If you like Full Choke, that's good for you, but yeah, I'm not a fan. After that, we have Accurized rounds. I love Accurized rounds in this column. That's going to give us some increased range. And then we have Firmly Planted. Increased accuracy, stability, and handling when firing while crouched. Now, I do love Firmly Planted, and this actually does proc while you slide as far as I know. So, you can slide with this thing, and I love to slide shotgun, and it makes it even better. I wish this column, it can get Quick Draw. I wish I had Quick Draw here, but I am very much fine with Firmly Planted. Now, we finish that off with Iron Reach, which is probably the best perk to have in this column. As you can see, my range is at 95, and lightweight frame shotguns nowadays really suffer from a low amount of range. So when you can have something like Iron Reach that really pumps that range up to the max, you really want to have that. Of course, the origin trait here doesn't do anything for us, so we'll ignore that. Finish that off with a ranged masterwork, and you are sitting pretty. Now, when I don't have quick draw, I'd like to put into quick access sling on. That's going to increase the speed at which this weapon is readied and stowed. So that's just going to let us pull our shotgun out a little faster, so we love to have that. Finishing off for our weapons, we have a Half-Truth's Eager Edge Sword. Now, I do love to use this thing, and I think I only have one play, but it is a pretty good play, and it's a pretty sexy one. We'll get to that eventually. Let's talk about our mods here. So on the helmet, we have a hand cannon targeting. Down here on the gloves, we have shotgun dexterity and quick charge. Now, quick charge has the secondary perk of Ever Ready. That's going to give us plus 20 to our handling on any weapons such as SMGs, shotguns, fusion rifles, things like that, and actually applies to our sword as well. But you can see that bumps up the handling on our shotgun just so we can pull it out a little faster. Although I do want to say, as always, when you have your Astrocyte Burst on, as you come out of a blink with your Astrocyte on, that is going to give you max handling to whatever weapon you are pulling out. So remember, you basically get quick draw on whatever handling you pull out as you exit a blink. So if you want to pull your shotgun out as you exit a blink, then you don't even need quick draw, to be fair. After that, we have 2 unflinching hand cannon aims just so we don't get flinched as we're shooting our nice little hand cannon there. Down here we have a shotgun holster so we can reload our shotgun when we don't have it equipped, and then a bunch of little mods that just give us a bunch of extra stats. And finishing off with our bond here, we have 2 utility kickstart mods, and that's just going to let us use our rift, and then it gives us a bunch of rift energy back really quickly so we can get to our next rift and grab our next clearance. And speaking of clearance, that is a perfect segue for us to go ahead and talk about our Void 3.0. Now, as I was saying earlier, this is Capture Point weekend, so you can bet your bottom dollar that there is going to be a shit ton of Well of Radiance and Titan bubbles. So that is why we are going to go for the Vortex Nova Bomb here. Vortex Nova Bomb is guaranteed to kill that bubble and any of those pesky little guardians sitting inside of it. So if you really want to slap those butt cheeks around, you're going to want to go for a Vortex Nova Bomb here. After that, I have Healing Rift, Blink, Pocket Singularity, and then I have Axion Bolts on. Axion Bolts are great for throwing at our enemy to push them out of position, really get them running away from the Axions. When they are running, we can decide if we want to go aggressive on them, chase them down and take them out as they're dealing with the Axion Bolt, or we can just let it do a little bit of damage, chase them out, and then reposition ourselves so that we have the better position that they had to give up to run away from that Axion. For our aspects, I have Feed the Void, so we have Devour, that gives us 2 fragment slots. And then we have Child of the Old Gods, or as we know them around here, Clarence, that also gives us 2 fragment slots, and we love to have those 4 fragment slots. Clarence is amazing for locking down areas, doing a little bit of damage to enemies, and also weakening them, so we can really follow up Clarence very well and very easily and just take them out as they are weakened and damaged. And Clarence, in conjunction with our Axion Bolts, is really good for locking down zones and pushing enemies out of positions that we would like to take for ourselves. For our fragments, we will start with Echo of Dilation. While crouched, you sneak faster and gain enhanced radar resolution, plus 10 mobility and plus 10 intellect. You can't go wrong with the raw stats, and we love Echo of Dilation. I always have this one on. That enhanced radar is really going to help us depict exactly where our enemies are and exactly how many enemies are around us. We want to use this Echo of Dilation with our Blink shotgun playstyle so we know when we can get aggressive. After that, we have Echo of Persistence. Void buffs, so our invisibility, overshield, and devour have increased duration. You lose -10 recovery for that, so make sure you're making up and keeping yourself as 100 recovery. Of course, we are a Morlock, so we want that 100 recov. But this is going to make our Devour go from 10 seconds to 15 seconds, so we love to have that. Echo of Remnants, your linear nade effects, such as your Axions, will chase longer, so our Axions just chase for quite a while longer. I feel like it's like 5 extra seconds of chasing, and I've seen times where my Axions just chase people out so long, and it's really satisfying to have. You definitely want to have Echo of Remnants on if you're going to use Axions. And finishing that off, we have Echo of Expulsion. I have many times where the Axions will kill somebody, or Clarence will kill somebody, or my melee will kill somebody, and if they have somebody grouped on top of them, the Echo of Expulsion will do another secondary explosion and blow up the other one, and that's a really easy way to get multi-kills, so definitely recommend having on Echo of Expulsion almost at all times in my opinion. That also gives us plus 10 intellect, so again, raw stats, you can't go wrong there. Before we jump into things, I want to cover just a couple things with you. The Blink Enthusiasts, we just hit 45 members, and we are fastly approaching 100, so you better get in and get your spot before we hit it. This is set to open, so you go to Bungie.net or your Destiny 2 mobile app and you can easily join. Even if you're not a Blink Warlock, we'd love to have you. And last but not least, we are almost to 2K subs, and I'm so excited to hit that goal. And after that, we are on our way to 10K. So if you'd like to join at any point during the video, I would absolutely love to have you, and I'd really appreciate it. But if you just want to watch the video and enjoy it, that's fine with me too. All that being said, I think we are ready for this gameplay, so let's go ahead and hop into it. So if you watched my video last week on how to use Blink in Trials on Endless Vale, then you know that that map had a very set amount of starts that I did. I usually went down towards mid, threw a nade down there, and kind of just took shots, or I would go towards Toilet Bowl, but this map has a lot of different variations on how you can start. You can see here was one of my favorites. I like going outside, just taking shots at this guy, Put down my Rift, I grab Clarence. You can see Clarence goes out, locks down some area, weakens that guy, easy cleanup for me. I throw out my Axion as well. You saw I threw my Axion where that Titan is up there. I like to throw it straight up to where around he's standing, and see back there where I'm going to shoot at this guy, you can launch your Axion straight into that little hole right there. Now, a lot of times people like to stack up there, and a good Axion can really just get them way out of position. If your teammates push it, they can get really smacked, and if you can't even push up towards window on that, you can always push around behind them while the Axion chases them out. Now, if you want to use something like a scatter or a vortex, it also works very well from that angle, so just keep that in mind. It's a great start and one that you're going to see me do very, very often in today's video. This is a different start though. You can go inside, and this stuff is really going to depend on how your enemy's playing, and then secondarily where the flag is. When the flag is in middle up top like this, you can go outside or inside without too much of a risk. I think it's easier to watch that flag from outside because you have a better point of view, and hey, you gotta love that Titan Slam, right? That's a fair amount of damage. You ever seen how much damage my melee does? It's not that much, I'll tell you that, but we're getting off track. You can see I kind of blink on this guy, blink to the right of him, just so I can kind of get out of his line of sight, and then hop over on this guy, smack him out there. You want to make sure when you're blinking, you're coming from angles that they're not going to expect. Get behind cover for a second, take out your shotgun, and then blink forward. I don't think I ever really touched on this often, but when I use my blink shotgun, I don't often blink and then pull out my shotgun while I'm going through my blink. You'll see very often, if you pay attention, when I'm going to blink shotgun on somebody, I pull out my shotgun before I go for my blink. Like right there, you saw that? I pull out my shotgun and then I go for my blink. I bumped my little noggin there, so didn't really get the best blink, but I was able to come down here and absolutely polish this guy's butthole clean. So it works out, but just understand, I usually pull out my shotgun and then go for the blink. It just feels better to me. The start of this round is pretty funny because my Titan, the Titans just think it's so funny to shoulder charge everyone into the wall, and it's like, Rufus, I gotta tell you, this joke played itself out in 2012. Like, just calm down, man. Stop shoving people into lockers in the hallway. It's really not funny anymore. I whiff my Axion there, kind of throw it into the wall, but then I took a shot on that guy. I blink over the bridge because there's a stasis turret on me. You can see it didn't quite hit me there, but I knew this was going to be a little tricky. I had to get these guys outside, took some shots at him, and then went for an aggressive blink before he really knew what was going on. Wiped him out and blinked really quickly. You can see I actually killed that first guy with my melee. This is something I talk about quite often. If you can kill the first person that you're going to fight with your empowered melee, do it. It's a reason why I really do like lightweight frame shotguns, because a lot of times they won't kill in one blast. I mean, they can if you're very much on point in mapping the enemy, but sometimes they don't. And when you can kill them with your empowered melee, you're going to proc your Devour, and that makes it way easier to do things like that. I was able to go onto that second guy, wipe him out, and full heal, which makes me immediately ready to go back on this guy. Of course, he has Lord of Wolf's Crutch, so he can wipe me out anyway, but great teammates follow me up there, and we immediately take that guy out. Again, I go outside here, and this is a blink I really like to take, straight up to the window here. Now, you can take that blink and easily get where I landed right there. If you go back and look where I landed, you cannot be seen from the little hallway that they just got wiped out in. But you can also throw in your Axion and then blink up there and easily take out the enemy team. It's one of my favorite things to do. I wasn't bagging the enemy there, by the way. I was just bagging towards my teammate because he was staring at me like, did you just wipe them out? And I was like, yeah, I might have wiped them out a little bit. You can see what I mean there. Throw up the Axion, blink up, and he had, really nowhere to go because I just start putting shots into his body while the Axion's chasing him, so he had nothing to do but die, honestly. Again, I like coming outside, take these little pathways on the outside if you can to get there. This is a place I love to slap down a Rift, is where I'm standing right now, but if I don't have my Rift like this round, then I just go ahead and start taking shots. Wipe out the first guy, saw this guy on my right, flicked over to him, and I love blinking over this little thing with my shotgun out, just like that, and you can see it works out very well this time. And unfortunately, I didn't quite kill that guy, but I did enough damage where my teammate easily finished him off. People will sit behind that little thing, and they really don't expect you to fly at them. And if you do fly at them, they expect you to be like a regular Warlock or Hunter that's going to come on the sides of them. They don't expect a Blink Warlock to fly straight over that and land on their little head and build a bird nest up there. Now you can see this guy was weakened, stuck by Clarence, so I just blinked behind him, really juked him out. He had no clue what was happening, and then went immediately on to the next enemies. As soon as you kill one and you know there's more people alive, make sure you immediately start looking at your radar, because you got to figure out where those next enemies are and figure out your next plan of action. You don't got time to sit there and celebrate because you just, wiped out your greatest arch enemy. No, you got to go find your next enemy and take him out too. Now you can see again, I saw them forward here, so I throw out an Axion, and then I start taking my shots. The Axion is chasing this guy, and you can see he gets all the way up towards the flag, and perfectly Axion takes out both of them. Those things chase for so long when you have that echo on that makes them really chase for a long time, and you can see it can do some amazing work. Took some good some good shots is what I should say, at that guy, and he starts running away, but I was able to fly up behind him. Remember, we have plus 30 to our airborne effectiveness when we have our Astrocyte Burst on, so do not be afraid to take some in-air battles if you have to, because you will be very accurate in air when you are a Blink Warlock. As long as you have your Astrocyte on, of course, which, for the sake of the world, I hope you do. Now I'm looking around watching my radar, and you can see I kind of saw somebody outside, and there he comes. Make sure you're watching your radar. If you know they like to invis crush, especially watch your radar and make sure you see when that radar disappears, the radar ping, then you can assume they went invis, as well as listening for the audio cue. It's a really big part of countering that invis. You can see there, we actually absolutely blew up that Well of Radiance just by shooting the sword. I was shooting the enemy as well, and it actually worked. We killed one of them out of the well, and then just shot the sword more, killed the well, and then killed the second guy. Coming forward here, I'm checking my radar, and this is a good example of you can get a really good flank with your blink. Take out one guy, looking at my radar, and I see I can perfectly flank forward if I just run forward with a shotgun. Take it out, blink forward, this guy is completely oblivious. He's thinking the circus is in town, he wants to go visit the elephants, drop him some peanuts on the ground, but it's just good old Roger coming up and putting a blink shotgun right into his ass cheeks, and he didn't know what the fuck hit him. Again, blinking outside here, love to do this. Peeking up towards window is really good. Now, the thing is with Sunshot, it does have quite a bit of kick, and kind of like I was saying in the intro, it doesn't have as much kick as you think. You can see, I didn't even control it that well there. A lot of times it takes me about 4 taps to kill people, which isn't too bad with the Sunshot, because of course, it shoots faster than a 140, so it's not too bad. But you do want to try to go for those 3 taps when you can. Now, you can see right here, I tap this guy pretty good. Get those team shots going on, and then I blink straight up. I like to keep the aggression going. I like to make sure that the pace of the match is set at the pace that I like, which is usually very fast. But this guy was holding me down, I was low health, I needed to heal, so that's exactly what I did. I waited for the res, and as soon as I got it, I made sure I peeked because I didn't just want to farm my teammate. If you're going to res your teammate like that and you know he's in the line of fire, then use the advantage that you have of baiting him and actually take shots. See if you can save your teammate instead of just throwing him into the lion pit and saying, have fun, Jeffrey, you know? Actually try to make his life worth something because, you know, most of our lives are worthless, but that's not the point right now. The point is we want to win at Wormhaven Trials. And you can see these little suckers. They love to hide behind the glass here, and even though I like to look at them and imagine there's some little fishies inside of an aquarium, I also want to kill them so I can have a nice fish dinner. So that's exactly what I go and do. I'm looking for these guys and I throw out an Axion against this wall. Now that's going to track a little bit, and I start taking shots as soon as it's tracking. Your shots combined with the Axion will often pick up a kill. You can see Clarence goes in and I wipe out one. Now, big part of my aggressive shotgun blink playstyle is as soon as I get one pick, that is when I look most times to get aggressive. So as soon as I killed the first one, I said, okay, let's get aggressive now. Especially since I knew he was a little low from Clarence and most likely could still be weakened, that is when I decided to get very aggressive, do a perfect blink in, aim down sights with my shotgun, make sure you're doing that, and take him out. Again, Clarence is taking this guy, so I know he either has to get out or I can aggress. Clarence weakens that guy, so I take him out, reload really quick. It's a pretty fast reload speed on this Sunshot, and I know he's still behind there. I check my radar really quick just to be sure he's there, just in case I didn't miss him running away or something. And again, I love this blink, and you can see right there, pretty good hipfire if you know how to hipfire your shotguns. Just be careful. You should aim down sights when you can, but when you're in midair like that, it's okay just to hipfire. Just get the damage out, especially if they're already low. Now again, my teammate's doing amazing here. You can see where that teammate has his rift placed down is what I'm talking about. If you hop up into window, play where that teammate is, and you can easily not be able to get shot from the little hallway there. Now again, the enemies are down here, and you can see very good range with your Sunshot. Again, with those explosive payload bullets, you're going to have a lot of range, and that's something you really need to take advantage of. You can face off all the way towards window with these people that are using their scouts or pulses because you have those explosive payload bullets. You can see right here, I smack this guy once I get my shots on point. It takes a second sometimes, but just keep taking your shots. You will eventually start hitting them and kill them. This guy flies in, take him out too, and I was really feeling the Sunshot at this point. This guy starts jumping up, but I decided I could get a perfect blink on him, so that's what I did. Clarence weakened him a little bit, so I was able to shoot his booty cheeks and just finish him off. Their teammate got a great flank as well. Now, looking here, I was outside. I like when this cap point is outside to just kind of see if I can play around the flag. I don't really care to capture. I prefer to kill the enemies every round if I can, because it's just more fun to me, and it's more of a challenge. Now, I was looking around, watching my radar. I see there's still one to the left, and obviously he shot me from bridge, so I knew he was towards there. Saw he was invis, and I sent Clarence out. Teammate got a great bow shot and finished him off, so I just kept taking shots and was watching my Clarence ticks of damage. Watch your Clarence ticks of damage. That's going to show you exactly where those enemies are, and then you can finish them off. Now, you can see there, I saw he pop Golden Gun, and I was just watching my radar, looking exactly where he was, because I knew if we wanted to win this round, I had to be the one to shut that Golden Gun down, because I was the one with the super. That was exactly what I focused on. I threw my Nova Bomb in, put his bussy in the dirt, and absolutely won this round for us, because I was able to get that super shut down. All I wanted to do there was fly in. I didn't have any special, but all I had to do was do damage and let my teammates follow up, and they beautifully followed up, and we won that match. Again, if you want to play inside, there's nothing wrong with that. Especially if this is the flag, you should try to play inside. I took good shots on that guy, knew my Axiom was chasing, so that's why I decided to get aggressive. You can see right there, that's really good range for a lightweight frame shotgun, and when you perfectly map your enemy, they do have some pretty hot range. Blinking into this next clip, I was going outside again. I didn't have my rift quite yet, so when I don't have my rift, I like to just kind of take some shots. Now, I looked around the corner there, and I had the entire, 105th Infantry staring me down in the eyes, and I was like, you know what? I don't quite want to be here, so I slid away and got back to my rift so I could heal up a little bit. Clarence, like I'm saying, doing a bunch of ticks of damage, he's weakening the enemies, and we have pretty good range with these explosive payload shots, as you can see. I start taking shots at them, and this guy gets right on my booty cheek, so I had to back up. Teammates were not quite taking him out, but that was okay. They finally did get him, so I'm getting some overshield here. You can see on the left side of my screen, 15 seconds of void overshield because we have on the Echo. That does give us that extra time on things that are the invisibility and the void overshield and our devour. So keep that in mind. It's going to buff your void overshield time as well. Take shots on that guy again, put our rift down when we came out just so we can get clearance out on him, and we saw this guy way back there. They did really good team shots on me there. That was a little bit over aggressive for me, but I only thought it was going to be one there. Now, this guy could have got me farmed, but I got really lucky and barely get out with like 1 HP. My ass cheek hairs were tingling, I'll tell you. But I was able to re-peek really quick, take him out, and immediately looked at my radar, saw this guy right under me, and just hip-fired him. Remember, you do have pretty good hip-fire shots when you have most hand cannons, and the Sunshot is no exception. So make sure you're using your hip-fire when you need to. You're going to have faster strafing speeds and whatnot when you're not aimed down sights, so don't be afraid to hip-fire every now and again. It's not always a bad choice. I blinked in on this guy. Since I saw he was running towards the right, I decided to blink around there and see if I could cut him off, but he was a little weirdo and kind of like waited for me, but it worked out okay. I was able to push him into the wall. If you want to shove somebody in the wall with your melee first and then take your shot with the shotgun, that's completely fine and very much viable, so keep that in mind. Here's the sword play I was talking about. Slash that guy, kind of slash forward here just to get myself reacquainted with where I am with my blink, and then do a big old uppercut, absolutely slice that guy's buttered up bussy in half, and really just made myself a nice meal right there. And then, you gotta love the sword, right? It's just a beautiful play sometimes. Take some shots on him. I knew the Axiom would finish him off if he didn't heal, but he must have healed a little bit because he barely lived, even though I hit him for 99. He comes back, and I was gonna take some shots at him, and he does have clearance ticking on him now. So I'm watching those ticks of damage. I know that they're right there. Take the first guy out with the teammate, and I'm looking to go for the last one, but I want to play smart. Take your time, make sure you're keeping your surroundings in your mind. What's happening? Okay, both my teammates just died. I might as well just res. I know he has reses too. If I get too aggressive, he could res by the time I get there. Maybe I lose the 1v1, so just play smart. I could have gone for the cap point too if I really wanted to. There was a lot of options, but I usually play it safe by just getting my teammates and letting ourselves play together. With clearance on this guy, he only had one choice, which was to peek me and try to save himself, because he was either going to just die to clearance or die to me rushing him or taking the shot on him right there. So he really had to try to take the fight with me and kill me before I killed him, but he didn't know who he was messing with, and I just wiped his ass off the map. Now, I can't believe my melee didn't connect there, but unfortunately it did not. So I was kind of looking at what I wanted to do. I saw my teammates started capping the flag, so I said, okay, let me look at my radar. These guys are over to my right here, so I'll just take a flank. That's exactly what I did. Come over here, take these guys out, and beautifully win the round. If your teammates are going to cap the point, you can't really stop them, and you just need to use it to your advantage. If they really want to rely on capture points, you use their distraction of them capping to kill your enemies, because your enemy is going to be very hard for you, or for them to deal with you attacking them and deal with your teammates capping the point. Now this guy was way back there. Clarence did start sucking some toesies, but he didn't quite get any kills or anything, and I couldn't follow him up too much. This guy was invis. I shot him a little bit and then threw my Nova Bomb down, blew up 2 of their gussies, and just blinked back, and my teammate took out that last one beautifully. You gotta remember, your Nova Bomb doesn't have to be used to shut down wells or bubbles. If you can use it to just get a kill, sometimes that is a just fine thing to do, especially if the person you're shutting down already has their super. You don't need to wait for them to cast it if you can just take them out preemptively, So always keep that in mind, and just try not to panic pop is the best advice I can give. You can see I pushed that guy back there as he was placing his Titan shield, so he actually didn't get to place it, which is, hey, 1 in a million, hallelujah, it actually worked. Now again, we're going outside here, we throw that Axion out, we're looking at our radar, and we're just trying to see where the enemies are. My teammate did trade with him, so that's nice. We want to look at our teammate's res, and that's exactly what I do. I turn around, I grab his res, and then I'm looking exactly where are the enemies. Take this guy out pretty well there with a last second shot, and I'm looking for this last one, see him on the radar, blink forward, have my shotgun out, and he does put a shield up just in time, but I was able to hop over, do a little ollie kickflip onto his face, and take him out. I do want to say for these last amount of clips here. I lost the audio to them, unfortunately, so sorry about that, but hopefully it's not that big of a deal. There's still some slapper plays. Now, again, there's the perfect Axion, and then I love to follow up, blink right up there, and start taking those sun shots. You can see, wipe that one guy out. Be careful, you don't want to get your toesies stuck in that Wither Horde, so that's what I had to be careful of. My blink actually failed to go up there, which is completely fine, because this guy was just like rattling around in midair. He was literally looking down at me like, please, no, Roger, don't kill me. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry, buddy, I gotta take you out, man. And I did, but I felt a little bad about it when I saw him freaking out like a, you know, fished up freak. It was not good, but we took him out. Throw the Axion up there, get that tracking, and then I decided to go for a flank. The great thing about your blink is that you can get around the entire map in the matter of seconds if you take the correct pathing, and blinking up towards bridge right there is a great place to go if you want to get behind your enemies, and especially when they're distracted on your teammates fighting towards top mid, you can get behind them easily. Sliding behind this pillar and setting up a rift is another great start I like to do. This pillar provides you great cover from your left or your right depending on which side you want to peek, and it can really be a great point to shoot from. You can see there I'm able to take really good shots on that guy, blink up and go behind this guy, take him out before he even knew what hit him, and turn around immediately. Again, we can't just relax because we got that first kill. We got to keep going and find the next one because we're trying to win this round, and that's exactly what I do by keeping my head in the game and making sure I look at my radar immediately after the first kill and snapping onto the next person as soon as possible. Again, we're going to throw that Axion up there, and you don't always have to blink up. Remember that. You can just grapple up, and that's why I recommend you have around 50 to 80 mobility. I usually keep around 60 nowadays, I think, because you can grapple up to most ledges with that amount of mobility. If it's any lower than that, you might be able to not grapple up to some ledges, so keep that in mind and be careful of that, because your jump height does go up depending on your tier mobility. Now you can see the sunshot here. You can hit some beautiful 3-taps and just some really good damage. We bust that first guy, come in, bust the second guy, and I'm immediately looking for the last one. Unfortunately, I kind of whiffed my shotgun there, but I was able to punch him in the bussier for a second, and my teammate easily cleaned him up. Now coming around here, I throw the Axion out, and I'm just looking for anything, and I see it starts tracking. So this is what I'm talking about with these Axions. If they're chasing the enemy out, you can get very aggressive. He had to deposition all the way to the back of his spawn there, and I just chased him down, and while he was still trying to readjust from the Axion, I just easily took him out. Hell, he might have even been reloading, because a lot of times you kill an Axion bolt, you're like, oh, I lost a bullet there. You try to go reload, that's a perfect time to just take the enemy out. Now I saw these guys down here, so I got some good shots, took him out with a headshot, and immediately dropped down so I could reload. Check my radar and see that they're both to my right. So I start to throw my melee out there. It doesn't connect, but I know they probably want that res, so that's where I'm looking towards. I see the Invis boy here, and I know if I blink from this angle, he won't be able to see me as I drop down. Keep walls in front of you for as long as possible while you're going for your blinks onto the enemies. Just like right here, this guy doesn't see me until I'm, right on top of his gussie, and I just immediately take him out. So you want to keep cover in front of you and in between you and your enemy as long as you can before revealing yourself as you blink shotgun onto somebody. Again, right here, throw up that perfect Axion, blink up, take some shots. We're going to mac this guy's face off, and unfortunately we didn't quite kill him because I whiffed some shots, but hey, it's gonna happen. Nobody's perfect. We're looking around on our radar, and I see there's 2 outside and 1 inside. So outside is my target. If I can take out one of these guys, then I can res my teammate and we can go from there. I slap my rift down, I grab clearance, and I start looking for a target. I get this guy really low but can't quite kill him, so I start looking around, throw my melee to the left in case he rushes, but he doesn't, take out his friend, and decide I want to blink forward aggressively. I'm looking at my radar, and I see there's one up top, and he's probably going to go around towards my teammate. Now I could have stayed outside, but I didn't know he was going to flank all the way around, but it completely works out just fine, and my teammate did really good damage, and I was able to come over, take my shotgun, and smack him down perfectly. So we're coming towards mid here again, slap down our rift, we're going to grab clearance, and we're going to look at our radar. We see 1 to our left, about 1 or 2 to our right. Take some shots, send clearance out, and my teammate goes in with that blade barrage. You can see clearance is ticking, and our teammate is dead, but he did trade. Now we're looking what can we do next, and I have the perfect Nova Bomb opportunity right there. When you see your enemies grouped up like that, especially when we're at 4-3 right here, that's what I'm saying. You don't have to just shut something down. You can throw that in and take them out. Now, I got an easy flawless, of course. When it's freelance, I'm telling you, I go flawless in like an hour. It took me like an hour to an hour and a half to get my first flawless this weekend just on freelance because, it's just, like I was saying, I genuinely had fun just playing freelance today when I got on, and I was like, this is a fun time. I was using Sunshot, I was using this Reese Walker that I really love, and I was just having a good time. I know that the population is not as high right now, and I understand that Trials is in a terrible spot, but, there are some good things coming. Lord of Wolves is getting nerfed like crazy. DMT is getting a little rework, which I'm excited about. Omni Oculus is getting its bussy nerfed to the ground. So there's a lot of things that I'm very excited about. And, although I am excited, I am also just like, there's really no excuse that it took Bungie this long to make these nerfs. And that's kind of the biggest problem I see with Bungie is, while they do eventually nerf things, I have to use the word eventually there, because they just take too long, and it's really just, it's way too long, and people quit. And as we see right now with Trials and how low the population is, people are quitting. So I don't know, hopefully they can figure it out. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, leave me a like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell if you want to see more in the future. And that is it for me today. Have a great day, Guardians.